Hello, everybody. Oh, my days. Hello. I'm so excited to be here at the Top 100 Most Powerful Black Women Summit 2026. It's such an honor to be amongst the lineup of such a powerhouse of women, such amazing voices. Let me give you a proper introduction to myself. So, my name is Michelle Jones Walker. I'm the founder and CEO of Zero Workflows. And Zero Workflows is an AI automation and app building agency. Basically, what we do is I help businesses improve in efficiencies. So that's whether they want to automate the mundane so they can move faster in their business and get back hours in their day, or surface hidden money leaks and plug them so that they have less revenue leaking out their business. So today, what I'm here to talk about is AI as a playing field leveler. But before I get into the frameworks, the tools, and the processes, I want to tell you a little story. It's December 2024, and I'm in my home office. I'm sat at my desk, and it's actually my week off work. I just turned 46, and I've got a week off work. And but I'm reading my emails, my work emails, as you do sometimes. And this email's come through, and it's from my director that I used to report to. And I'm reading this email, and I'm reading it carefully because I want to make sure that I understand what it is that I'm reading. And the more I read, the more I understand what I'm reading. And I'm like, what? This director is blaming me for a problem that she created. And the proposed solution totally throws me under the bus and actually causes me reputational damage as well. And I can feel my whole body tensing up, feel it tightening and my jaw clenching, and my brow is all becoming furrowed, and I've got this heat rising in me up my throat, and my ears are getting hot, and I'm just all tensed up and hot all over. And then I just sit back and I look at the screen, and then I shut the laptop and I say out loud to no one, because I'm in the room by myself, I'm done. I'm done. And I was done. And I knew I was never going to allow someone to make me feel like that again. And at that moment, I made a decision, and it was a very defining moment for me, because I decided at that point that I was going to stop dabbling with AI, was going to stop using it as a Google search engine, or getting it to write my emails full of M dashes. Look, I still use it to help me write my emails, but that's not the point. And I was going to start operating on a different level. And so what happened next is I decided, look, I've got this thing. I'm going to learn how to use it. As what most people don't tell you about AI, the way the majority people are using it right now, it's like they've got a Ferrari. It's like owning a Ferrari and only ever having it parked in the drive and reversing it out of your driveway and then parking it again. That is how most people are using it. They're using it for their typos and for summarizing emails, and maybe for writing captions that sound slightly less like themselves. And while they're doing that, someone else is using AI to run their entire onboarding, or to analyze the last 6 months of their company data in 40 seconds flat, and to build business infrastructure that used to require a team of 5 or 10 or 20 and now can just be done by one person. So here's the question that I want to to drop right now. What if AI isn't just a productivity tool? What if it is actually the first technology in history that that narrows and not widens the gap between the person with the resources and the person with the talent? So I'm here to talk to you today about AI, but not AI as a threat, right? And not AI as hype either, but AI as a playing field leveler. And specifically, what that means for powerful women in business, powerful Black women in business who are tired of doing more with less, right? So let me show you the scale of what's actually happening right now. According to McKinsey, they estimate that AI will automate 70% of work activities in the next decade. 70%. Now, if you're in the room thinking that that number doesn't apply to you because you're a leader or a founder or a senior executive, I want to challenge that assumption right now, because the research also shows something else. Women, Black women especially, are disproportionately concentrated in the roles that are being disrupted the fastest. So that's whether you're in a financial support services role, whether you're middle management, doing operations, administrative work, or customer service. And then here's the cruel irony of it all. The same technology that threatens those roles is the exact same technology that can catapult you past the people who've always had the advantage. Think about what it has taken to compete at the top. Traditionally, that has meant a big team, having budgets for expensive consultants, a healthy dose of nepotism, where you've got a network that opens doors for you even before you knock. And then obviously time, that having that uninterrupted time to think, plan, and even execute at that highest level. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and take an educated guess and say that most of us here in this room today, in this summit, didn't have those advantages. And we had to build our credibility from scratch, and there was a cost to that. Sometimes we were twice as qualified to get half as far, and the cost that we absorbed wasn't always financial. You've got the cost in energy, in time, and in that emotional toil and labor. And often, our counterparts never even noticed. But AI, it doesn't care about any of that. It doesn't care what your postcode is. It doesn't care what zip code you're in. It doesn't care what your surname is and whether it carries some legacy surname from your family that should grant you entry to everywhere. It doesn't care about that. It doesn't know what you look like and doesn't care what school you went to, what college you went to, what university you graduated from. It responds to the quality of your thinking and the clarity of your direction. And so what that means is, for the first time, possibly in the history of business, the barrier to operating like a well-resourced organization is not capital. It's not even your connections. It's knowledge and strategic intent. And that is a field leveler. Now, before I tell you exactly how, I need to say something that, might be a little bit uncomfortable. because I'm sure you have, and I have been in rooms like this before, where someone gets up and says, AI is going to change everything. And then 6 months later, at least for yourself, nothing has changed because maybe the talk was inspiring, but it wasn't actionable. But I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to change how you work by the time that you leave this summit today. And to do that, I need you to understand the real reason why some people fail to get value out of from AI, including smart, driven people like yourselves. It's not a tool problem; it's actually a thinking problem. And most people um, approach AI with tasks. Write this email, summarize this document, give me 5 ideas, that type of thing. And the people who are winning with AI approach it with systems. They're not asking AI to do a task for them. And what they're asking is AI to help them build infrastructure that runs without them. It's that shift from task to system that is everything. So let me give you 3 practical ways AI levels the playing field. Right now, this year, with tools that cost less than the gym membership that you might not even be using right now, that you're paying for but not using. So every senior executive I know has something called leverage. And that's someone who manages their communication, that might prepare their briefs for them, and tracks their priorities, and make sure that they're ready and prepared before any meetings that they're due to have. And most of us who are solopreneurs, we don't have that. We have to do all of it ourselves, and it silently costs us like 2 to 3 hours every single day. But AI can be that leverage, not perfectly, but definitely functionally. And you can build a workflow today that takes your inbox, extracts action items, then categorizes them by urgency, and drafts responses in your tone of voice every morning and does it automatically. You can literally walk into every meeting with a pre prepared brief, with context on the person that you're meeting with, the history of any conversations you've had, the agenda, have 3 outcomes you want, and that structure to take into the meeting can be built in 90 seconds with the information you already have using AI. That is the chief of staff you could not afford, but now you can. I want to tell you about an MD of a company, a 25-person company, really smart guy. I've got a lot of respect for him. He's very experienced at what he does and he's driven. But he had an idea to bring a new product to market that he believed in. And so he hired someone to take it to market. And 12 months later, and about £40,000 in salary, which is like $53,000 in salary, the project ends up getting shelved and he has to have a difficult conversation with the lady that he'd hired. So now he's spent 40 grand. He's had a year's momentum just to find out it's something that the market uh, didn't want, and that he could have found out the answer to in under 2 months, in 6 weeks. So here's what he could have done instead. He could have done a targeted uh, a cold email outreach campaign, which he could have built using automated tools. And that could have been sent to his exact ideal customer profile. And that kind of campaign costs around £3,000 or dollars, and it runs for 6 weeks. You need to allow 3 weeks for the emails to warm up for deliverability, and then about 3 weeks for the campaign to run. And this would have given him real commercial intelligence, real market intelligence about what problems the customers wanted solved, what they were prepared to pay, what and figure out the messaging that would be used to best describe the problem that that they were trying to solve for their ideal customer profile. So he could have spent 3 grand, used up 6 weeks of time to get the answer he needed before spending 40 to 50 grand chasing the wrong thing. So AI just doesn't help you just execute faster. It can help you validate smarter before you commit resources, before you hire a person, before you start building something. And that is a fundamentally different way of operating. And it is available to you right now. So that's strategy 2. And then here's a third strategy around content and marketing. So as you know, we live in an attention economy, and visibility is leverage. And for most of us, if we're founders or consultants or executives building a personal brand, the content side of things, you know, posting out to social media, that tends to fall off the plate when we, you know, that's the first thing that drops off the plate when we get busy. We know it's important, but it's a time suck. And you can take one 30-minute conversation like this one that we're having right now, and with the right workflow, turn it into a month's worth of content for LinkedIn, or a newsletter edition, or 3 short video scripts and a lead magnet. And you could do that in less than an hour. The people who are building audiences and attracting clients and establishing authority in their fields, they're not necessarily the best writers and the most creative. They're just the most consistent. And AI makes that consistency possible for people who are already doing the work of 3 people. It just amplifies what you're already doing and allows you to do it at a higher velocity and faster. Now, I said earlier that the shift from tasks to systems is everything. So to kind of let me just make that really, really concrete what that means. A prompt is write me a proposal. A workflow is a client sends an inquiry, AI extracts the brief, pulls your relevant case studies, cross-references your pricing, generates a first draft proposal, then flags where your input's needed, sends you a summary, and does that all in under 5 minutes. That workflow exists, and it's not complicated to build. And once it is built, it just runs every time in the background for you, whether you're in a meeting or whether you're on vacation or whether you're sleeping. And so this is what I mean by infrastructure. And you don't need a technical background to build it. You just need clarity on how your business works. And you already have that. I want to be honest with you. When I decided to learn AI, and I mean learn it properly, I jumped into a community. And when I looked around, I'm like surrounded with all these AI bros who are like 21 to 30. And then there's me, old gal, you know, who's like, I'm old enough to be everybody's mum. And it got a bit uncomfortable at times, like they're learning it so fast and zooming off, and my learning curve, they're going Yong, and I'm like just chugging along. And there was a few times where I was like, maybe this isn't for me, and maybe this belongs to the generation that has grown up with this, and I'm past it. But you know, I got over myself, and I found a mentor, a guy called Nick, who is absolutely brilliant when it comes to workflow automations. He's world class, the best in the world. They call him the GOAT of AI automation. And what I learned from Nick was that automation and AI doesn't reward youth. What it actually rewards is not technical ability, not youth. It rewards clarity of thinking. It rewards pattern recognition. It rewards understanding what a business actually needs. So what's actually worth automating? You can automate everything, but is it worth automating everything? Because you need human intervention. And that's where my 20 plus years of experience of having worked inside organizations actually became really, really valuable, because I understand what the C-suite wants to know, what breaks in a business, how it should be fixed, and so it rewards clarity, and it rewards understanding businesses. And that's just something that at 25, um, you can't know. You haven't had the experience to know it. So it definitely levels the playing field for us more seasoned Gen Xers. And so I got that from Nick. And then I met my second mentor, Justin. And Justin is another, world class individual. He's in the top 1% when it comes to building applications, mobile and web applications, using AI as the leverage to do it. And what I learned from Justin, and continue to learn from Justin, is how to package and scale my workflow automations, so that I could take them to market, and then they're much easier for the consumer as well to understand it, because it's packaged in a way that makes sense for them. So it feels less intimidating, let's say. I'm still learning every day, and every week I'm still learning, because that's the thing about this space. It moves really fast. And the women who will win in the now and in the future are not the ones who know everything. They're the ones who stay curious. And I'm sat here looking out at a bunch of women who already know how to do that. So here's what I want to leave you with. AI isn't coming, it's already here. And the gap between those who are using it strategically and those who are not is widening like every single month. But here's the extraordinary thing about this moment: the gap has not yet closed. You're not late. The women in this room, in this summit today, who already operate at an elite level, who already know how to build and to lead and to influence, are exactly the people who will benefit from this technology if you choose to lean in right now. So not next year, not when it becomes mainstream. I'm talking now, because by the time it becomes mainstream, the advantage will be gone. And so I've built something for you today, something I want to share. It's called an AI Power Twin, and you're going to find it over at aipowerwomen.com. Let me show it to you on screen right now. So this is something I've been building for the last couple of weeks, exclusively for this event. Before we finish, this is what I want to give you, something practical you can actually try today. So this is called your AI Power Twin. What it does is when you log in, you click the button and it will ask you a few simple questions about your role, about your business, and about the kind of results you want to create. Then it gives you personalized guidance on where AI could actually like amplify your work. There's no tech jargon or anything like that. It'll meet you exactly where you're at, whether you're a beginner or whether you're someone who's a bit more of an advanced user. And so it's an AI advisor that you can ask some questions around your business. It takes around 5 minutes. And I encourage you to try it today before you leave. I'm going to put the QR code up on screen. But now here's the interesting part. What you're seeing is just a taste of what an AI thought partner can do. But imagine if that same intelligence didn't just give you advice. Imagine if it could also build systems that save you hours every week and allow you to focus on the higher leverage stuff in your business. So these systems could help you follow up with leads, create content, handle client onboarding, and keep your business moving forward even when you're not working. And that's exactly what I'm building. That's what I'm building next. So if that idea interests you, try the twin first. And if you like what you see, what comes next is you can join the wait list for her, human expertise reinforced by AI. And I'd love to stay connected and share what I'm building. So have a go with the twin. And then whilst you're in the app with the twin, there'll be a button to join the waitlist. Ladies, I just want to thank you for spending the last 30 minutes with me. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you got value. I'd love to stay in touch. But yeah, just thank you for your time. I've been Michelle Jones Walker. Thank you very much. Goodbye.